Hi all, welcome to the channel. We now have issue 74 of Eaglemoss's Build a Delorean. We now have issue 74 of Eaglemoss's Build a Delorean. As you can see, I've brought the main frame over because we are going to be attaching the other door to the frame of the car in this issue. But before we do that, we're going to be building up the roof lining and a couple of other extra bits on the car to prep it for the door, and then eventually we will be adding it in to the frame. These are the parts we get. This is the roof lining with the hinges in place already. Now that's metal as well. It's fairly heavy. This isn't actually listed in the parts list, and lots of people were throwing these away and they didn't know what it was for. It's actually, if I bring this one over, just undo the tape, because the doors don't hold themselves up, you get this little plastic block and you slot it in just there and it will hold the door open. So that's what that plastic block's for. Right. Other parts in this issue are the gas strut. We have this little hinge retaining pin, or gas strut retaining clamp, which you can barely see on camera. We also have a few more screws. NM screws, which are just falling out of this packet, and some QM screws. So, using my rubber mat again, we're going to be taking the door. We're making sure this cable is moved out of the way, and it runs between the post here and here. We're going to be placing this onto the door, ensuring that the cable runs out of this tiny little channel here. Just remove our hinges, and we want to make sure that when we put it on, we push these plastic parts down into place as well, trapping those so that it all pulls itself together. So there you go. So the cable is out of that channel, and these are over the top of these plastic parts, and we're going to push them together, and we're going to be using 4 NM screws to secure that in place. Just dipping into a bit of oil to help the screws go in. That's 2. That's now secured in there. Right, I'm just going to move that to one side at the moment, because the next thing we're going to be doing is working on the main frame. So skipping ahead doesn't always save you time. I've just had to remove the panel that I put on, which I thought didn't impact anything, and then realised that when it came to putting this gas strut in place, when that is on there, it covers the piece where you want to put the gas strut. So that's the next thing we're going to be doing. If I just tilt that on its side, you can see a little bit better. So the gas strut is going to sit just in there. like so. And we're going to get our little retaining clip. I'm going to be popping that over the top of that. And we're going to be using a QM screw for that. So that's the gas strut in place. Next thing we're going to be doing is offering up the door to the car. I want to ensure that this cable goes through the hole on the roof. Okay, so I've put the wire through the hole. Now we need to feed that all the way through and then offer up the hinges to the car itself. Just ensure that they will line up. And then what we need to do is we need to secure them from underneath using 2 QM screws. Okay, so what I've done, I've just flipped the car over. We're going to be using 2 QM screws, 1 in each hinge. I've propped the bonnet up using a little paint pot. It's about the perfect height to get it so that the roof is flat on the ground. It's going to make it much easier to secure these in. There's one. And there's 2. I'm just going to push on that hinge from underneath and just ensure that they're tight. Don't over tighten these. I've seen so many horror stories where they've snapped from being over tightened. They're very, very thin screws, so you're best off just tighten to they feel tight, but don't try and wrench them in. The last thing we need to do for this is we're going to be securing that gas strut to the door. So to do that, we need to flip the car back over. And we're going to be taking our gas strut and we're going to be securing it into the hole just there with a QM screw. Now I'm going to use the little packing block for this because that will hold the door up. We'll just line that up and secure that in. Take out our block. And that is the second door completed. And that's the end of that stage. Thank you for visiting the workshop today. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of how the DeLorean progresses, remember to hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. I'll see you around.